Jason, you giving out money today? You got Amanda in here, Chris that showed up. I need $500 right now, my friend. You giving out money? I'll cook you a steak too.
Do you guys remember that one startup Fayette where Barry put $2 bills under the chairs? Right. Everybody in here had the chairs upside down, tables are underneath, they're looking for I mean, I went home with a fresh $2 bill. I was back anytime. Well, we weren't giving away money last night, but we had a packed room. Valerie, amazing job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stephen Childs, we maxed out 2 hours plus. It was a full room with lots of great, I think everybody just was taking it in. There wasn't even that much feedback or questions because it was really just, it was amazing. Really great program. So for those of you that aren't aware, Startup Fayette is through the Chamber of Commerce, and it's really meant to just be a resource, a tool for you to learn and meet people, and mission accomplished last night. So really, really great turnout. The next one is not until August 18th, I believe. It's always the third Tuesday, so if it's not the 18th, correct me. But I believe it is August 18th. And we are going to have Tara Baines from Busy Bee Bookkeeping come in and talk about how to know your money, basically. I think that's the title. Or we might change it a little bit, but we want it to be more of like workshop style. So we're kind of figuring out what that might look like. But I think it's going to be a really good one, as they always are. Newcomers to 1 Million Cups. I think there's one. Is this your first time?
Yes.
So 2 new faces in the room. We have a gift for you. Abby will deliver that in a moment. But I do need to ask that you use this QR, everybody, to use the QR code on the left to check in with 1 Million Cups. Again, it should be a really simple registration process, and all you're doing is letting them know that you're here. Uh-oh. That's the problem with the auto.
Just do regular.
There we go.
Or you can go back to
Stay there. Maybe it'll stay. Okay, I'll keep it there. That lets 1 Million Cups know that you're here and kind of who you are, and then they send out these really amazing stats throughout the year to tell us how many entrepreneurs are being served and how large the communities are. And the last time we did that, I am proud to share that the Southeast blew all the other regions in the country out. I mean, we were like 3 times the size. It was amazing. So I want to keep that going. So that's why it's always important I ask you to check in. The one on the right is optional. That's our private Facebook group. If you want to network, because technically this is not a networking group, that's the place to share what you've got going on, any deals, specials, questions, anything that you want the community to answer for you, especially when it's not your turn to stand in front of the room. So I encourage you all to join that group. And then last but not least is to check into Launch Fayette. I know these are a lot of QR codes and a lot of check-ins, but again, there are stakeholders that are keeping the lights on in this building, in this space specifically, and if we can't show them that there's foot traffic and people are coming in to really benefit from it, we can't guarantee that it'll always be here. I don't mean to say that in a negative way because I don't think that's going to happen. I just am asking for your help. Please let them know that we're here. Usually there's a sign-in sheet being passed around. That is the alternative to the Launch Fayette QR code. Do we have one? Is it going around? Does everybody see it?
I don't know. I'll go out there.
Yeah, we'll get Needy to bring that in here so we can just use that. And if you have ever signed up before, just put your name. You don't need to fill out all the information. If you're new though, please give us email and whatever else is on that sheet. Let's see. The biggest announcement is that next Friday is
Night Market.
Night Market. Look at her repping the shirt. I was gonna wear mine this morning too, but my daughter chose this color for me, so.
We can't do
Shirt. You should wear turquoise. That would look good with your jeans, she said.
Oh my gosh, that's
Thank you. Thank you, Nene. You must have heard me. I was just talking about the sign-in sheet.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. So Night Market is next Friday. I am actually feeling pretty good about our list of volunteers. Josh, I do need to confirm with you if you're available, but the list is looking really good. So I appreciate all the people who helped me put that on. Keep your eyes open. Abby's going to start like banging out posts to share vendor information and all the things that happen. It's going to be a really good time. Let's just all keep our fingers crossed for good weather.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be too picky and ask for not too hot weather. I just don't want the rain. Right?
Yeah.
We can just avoid that.
Yeah, just pass. Let's see. Is there any other announcements that I have? I don't think so. Anybody else have anything they want to share? I'll have one more announcement I'll make. So you guys, most of you know that I opened a space called the Nexus Community. We are doing our very first art show on August 7th. It's a Thursday from 5 to 7. We can talk about that also.
Yes,
Chris.
we do.
Josh, I just want to make sure there's no conflicts there. But we have so far 24 pieces that have been
24
submitted.
submissions,
It's
24
amazing.
artists.
24 artists have submitted pieces for this show. We do have a website. It's the nexus.community. There is an events page, and you can RSVP to the event there. The RSVP is just to let us know how many people are coming, because Chef Drew is going to have to prepare food for all of those who say yes. And we'll talk about that later.
Oh, I am? Thank you.
I didn't say that wasn't a total surprise. But yeah, we plan to talk about that later. Anyway, really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be an amazing opportunity to get people into the space to really see it, feel it, and understand what it's about. And I'm happy to talk about that later if anybody has any questions. But I'm done rambling. Let's get Jay up here.
Can we do new people one more time? Just so I can-
Yeah, Abby, her head is up now, so hands in the air.
Okay.
You have 3 actually.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right. Jay, why don't you come up? I'll get you queued up here.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you so much.
I never bring up.
And then you put your pen up.
All right, thank you. You're welcome. All right, we just tested it. Okay.
Hello, everybody. Who I am is really important. The most important person that is in this room right now is you. And that will always be the case in our life. And the second one is 1 million cups.
Yeah.
And so you come to 1 million cups, what? I just saw this, to be educated, to be inspired, and to connect with entrepreneurs like yourself, to help your business grow and you connect with the community and everything else. So let me tell you a story. There's a problem in our world. Disaster, hunger, wars. That's the problem in our world, isn't it? Right? It's part of the torn page is going on right now. You don't have to look far. Also, there's the main problem, right, is what's going on in our lives. Torn Pages is the name of the organization. We all have heartache and sorrow. You can go one more. Addictions, divorce. So our life is like a book. Written are the good times. But what about divorce? What about addiction? Loneliness? Depression? We've all experienced life's torn pages. What do we want to do with these torn pages? Huh? Most of the time we want to throw them around and we can't pick them up, but they are always part of our lives, aren't they? We know more about our torn pages than we know about anything else in our life, don't we? What I do with mine? Our famous little Kroger garbage bags. I threw them away. Hoping I could forget my torn pages and trying to find meaning and purpose, right? There's a story of a veteran that served our country faithfully and honorably. But he lost his way even with 2 beautiful kids and a successful business because of the demons in his mind. And he went to prison for 20 years. In that prison cell, he didn't know what he had. All he had was life's torn pages and a garbage bag. But one day, his God knocked on his heart. And he said, God, what can I do with my torn pages? And out of the trash, he said, God, please, what can I do with my torn pages? And what he did, God created some beautiful bracelets that are made out of torn and ripped pieces of paper. In that cell, God reached in and took his torn pages of his child, his children, brother's broken heart. And on the back, the story that transformed his life, right, is a gift. Is a gift. You can go to the next one. This gift is our solution. Is our solution of hope, peace, and strength. So we sat in that prison cell. This is the gift he was given. It says, this keepsake is made by hand with torn, ripped pieces of paper. It's a reflection of the pages been torn and ripped in your life. However, God can take the torn pages of your life and create something beautiful in his caring hands. A hope and a peace and a strength to avail on life's journey. Who in here could use a little bit of hope, peace, and strength in their life? Huh? I've never met any nationality, gender, race, color that could not use the gift of hope, peace, and strength. And I've never met anybody else of religion, creed, color that has not experienced life's torn pages. And the solution we bring is a gift of a reflection of life's torn pages. Because if man can make something beautiful out of torn pieces of paper, just think what God can do with the torn pages of your life. So our vision for Torn Pages for 2025 is to reach 100,000 people with this beautiful gift. That is an extremely big dream, especially since the veteran is trying to almost do it on by his own, but he can't do it by his own. We all need what? Education, connection, and inspiration that 1 Million Cups brings. So to reach our vision, we want to impact about 100 individuals that would bring a donation. We partner up with over 100 organizations. Life Pregnancy Center, you can go ahead and change the next. Our mission, right? Our mission, our vision with the purchase of these bracelets supports our mission. And our mission is what? Personal impact. And today, I hope you will be personally impacted by the gift in this story. Because that's the most important thing. And it might not be you right now, but you know what? It's a gift that you can give away to somebody else, isn't it? Because when you do purchase something, you make a donation on our site, you have to get two. You know why? One's for you, and one's to pay it forward. Because we all have the best intentions of doing something for somebody, don't we?
Sure.
You know, oh, I got to call my auntie. She's suffering. You know, life just gets so busy. This gives you meaning and purpose to reach out to somebody with a special gift. We also have a global impact. Global impact. You can go ahead and switch. Go ahead. It's all right. I've never really done a personal slideshow. So that's a personal impact. One life at a time, we can make a difference. Can we? Next one.
Still reading.
Okay. All right. We believe that the deep changes begins at the personal level. This year alone, we've already impacted almost 20,000 people. There's a few minor misprints in this right here we got put together last night. We'll care packages, personal support, interaction, and a chance to rewrite someone's story. Your story's not finished yet. The story's still going. And we hope this will be a gift that you can remind yourself of hope, peace, and strength. We partner up with so many strategic partnerships, from Smith & Davis. We're over in their store right now. Y'all, everybody probably knows about them, one of the #1 stores. Mighty Hero Homes is an organization that helps homeless veterans get them off the streets and find a home. Tackle the Shackles and Life Changers Legacy. That is also for prison reentry. And then there's also one of my favorites right now is Life Pregnancy Center. They're giving a gift to women that are coming in that are scared of being pregnant. And they're torn between abortion, adoption, and having a mother. And they're using this gift to help change the narrative of their life and maybe change the life of saving a child. Go ahead. Global impact. We have a global impact, as currently right now we employ about 30 women in Uganda. Out of those 30 women, their livelihood supports about 130 children and grandchildren in 2 villages. That's fixing to explode. We've sent over almost $100,000 in the last 5 years to this organization to give them a livelihood. Next one. Now, to our community, today I'm going to introduce a crisis in our community you have nothing to know about. And I'm sharing a story about a veteran that served 20 years in prison. In prison, the incarceration rate is, just in Georgia alone, if you don't know, it's about 20,000 men being released every year in the state of Georgia. That's a lot. They're being reintegrated into our communities and our neighborhoods. You know how they're being released? $35 debit card, a bus ticket, and the clothes on their back to re-enter back into society. Let me give you those three things with nothing: no car, no license, nothing, no job, and let me see your success rate and how you would make it. With this hanging on your shoulder. The failure percent is 70%. That's the failure percent, recidivism. They have a 30% chance of succeeding. This veteran that I'm talking about, he has a 30% chance. But God inspired him to create this right here, to bring this to light. Go ahead. How many of our children are impacted when a parent is incarcerated? Just in the state of Georgia, how many children are impacted just in the state of Georgia with a parent that's went to prison? $350,000 children just in the state of Georgia are impacted with a parent that's been in the judicial system. 7 out of 10 of those kids are going to go to prison unless a community like this and other communities that this veteran is trying to bring awareness to will step in and make a difference in their life. This veteran I've talked about, that got inspired from incarceration to inspiration, and why I got so choked up, I was that veteran that served 20 years in prison. I know about life's torn pages. I know what God can do with the torn pages of our life. And I come alongside you today to share with you an amazing gift, a solution. You would never think it was a piece of jewelry made out of paper. I had no clue what God was doing in my life. Today, I'm a free man. And today, my whole vision and my whole purpose is to touch your life and bring awareness to 1 million cups all across the world. To reach our goals, like I said, we're going to impact 100,000 lives. How are we going to do that? We're going to do that by connecting with 100 donors that would love to give $1,000 or $2,000 a year to support our endeavors. From a personal impact to a community impact to a global impact. It's one of the most rare gifts I've ever seen to have such an impairing impact and a rippling effect. And it came from a Georgia prison cell. We're going to connect with also, we're in Smith and Davis. As we speak today, say a prayer. I have a person who was ignited and impacted by Life's Torn Pages, Os Hillman, a national known writer, and one of his best friends is Hobby Lobby, Steve Green. And they're having a conversation today of introducing Torn Pages to be presented in their store. That's just one store. That alone we would already match over 100,000 people being impacted. But once again, I bring the reflection back to you. If you're in need of some hope, peace, and strength, we partnered up with other organizations too. Other organizations that come alongside. We have a fitness instructor. He buys them and he gives them to his fitness instructor. We have organizations. Tim Tebow, we're trying to connect with them to stop the violence and Shine USA, and we also have Stop Suicide USA, the pregnancy center. It's just a gift when they walk away and your logo would go with it. I mean, it's just a powerful organization. Even with 1 million cups, they give away gifts and coffee cups. They could give away these bracelets with their logo that would empower somebody. And not only that, something to give away to bring them awareness to that. What God gave me inside that Georgia prison cell is the greatest gift I've ever known, because it inspires so many lives with hope, peace, and strength.
So Jay, you know that we are here to support you.
Yes.
We just need you to tell us how. So how can we support you?
So the ask is, this is how I usually do my stuff. I don't usually
This
do it
was a
like
very
this.
nice presentation.
Yeah.
That's very 2 hours.
So just like back in the day, some of y'all young ones don't remember. We had to write instructions how to get there. And everybody's lost without their phone now. Then they don't want to trust the Google GPS. This way's shorter, and then we go and there's an accident there. It's 20 minutes delay, and Google's trying to say, no, go this way. That's sort of like God in our life, isn't it? Anyways, the ask is definitely looking for partners to maybe let them coincide you and help maybe show how it just could be amplify your organization and be another way to connect with your people in a personal way. That's one thing I would ask. One is how to scale it, how to scale these visions that I had from reaching 100,000 people. Definitely looking for investors, because all entrepreneurship is looking for people to donate and support. And then one of the last ones is that for some of us, we've had some good board of directors. Mine's have sort of dissolved over a year or so ago because of some trials and tribulations in my life, and so I'm trying to redevelop a new board of directors. And so that would be my 4 ask. And with that, thank you for letting me share my story, and thank you for being here today. May your life be impacted.
Great, Jay. Thank you. So, because I know he didn't work it into his presentation, but I also know that he has another business, which is really what's funding this to get off the ground. So I do just want to invite you to talk about that other business for a second.
Well, I just jumped in. I have a painting company called Straight Edge Painting USA. One of the most successful businesses here in this local area. Peachtree City, Noonan, Fayetteville, Brooks, Sonoya. Have one of just some of the best crews that if you need any, we specialize with homeowners specifically. Interior, exterior, pressure washing, decks, stains, minor repair work, sheetrock work, and so that's part of the funding that's been supporting me for the last. I've been free for 8 years. I went in 1997 and got out in 2017. I went in when I was 34 and got out when I was 54. But this is what God allowed me to inspire since I've been out. And my goal is to bring inspiration from incarceration to people that's getting a second chance. But thank you so much, Jay, for reminding me of that.
Yeah, of course. Does anybody have anything they'd like to ask or share? Not many questions. So I know that they are for sale.
They're for donations, really. Anybody wants a donation, we ask minimum of $10 because we do have to fund the women in Africa, part of our other funding. We do have a wholesale later on if you're interested with your company, with your personal logo to give away. For the cup of coffee, that's about, well, not quite this cup of coffee right here because this is somewhat free for some of us. But for Starbucks,
going into the store,
yeah, but it's less than a cup of coffee that you'd buy at Starbucks. It would be for your wholesale to purchase them and give them away. It's phenomenal. It's a way for people to remember.
I have a question for you. I know a lot of churches have prison ministries.
Yes, sir.
Have you
reached out to a lot of those churches and talked to them regarding.
Yes, sir. That's one of the visions we're going to. I will tell you, as I knock on many, many doors, and this will change by next year, I promise you, is I'm trying to knock on doors and get my foot in the door to share with them something that I think is really great. But if you ever known, and I'm sure y'all have heard as entrepreneurs, when we're trying to do something great, the greatest enemy is what? Good. It's good. And so what happens is I'm knocking on the doors and the churches are coming saying, well, what do you want? Because all the churches are pulling for them. But my enemy that I face in anything is overcoming good. And so I keep knocking on the doors because I have something.
Yeah.
But what they've been doing, we're good. We've been doing this for 10 years. And I'm like, I got 20 years inside information, I think.
Yeah.
It's pretty valuable, you know? But, go ahead. Thank you, though. Great question. Thank you.
So my question is, can you explain to us a little bit? So you get the funding. What happens with that funding? How does it?
Funding with the so what we do is we're in a gray area. When we get a donation, specifically a donation that goes into our endeavors, we got about 85% of that totally goes to our nonprofit. The ones who purchase the bracelets, we give about 30% of that profit after the purchase of the bracelets and everything else. So that goes into scholarshiping men and women coming out and getting a real second chance. We've helped. It's been very little because of startup, but we've helped about. And Jay was Aaron said the other night. I said we've only really helped about 20 men coming out of prison to get a real second chance. He said, Jay, you sound like that's nothing.
Yeah, don't say only.
Yeah, you know, but men coming out every year,
Of course.
and so I'm partnering up with other organizations with Torn Pages. But
So is it like vocational training?
It's
Is it
a
help
whole
with
wraparound
grants?
service where they had the biggest. So I will share this. In prison, I spent 20 years in prison. I could not tell you. Everybody wants to go in prison ministry. I'll always be indebted for the men and women that came inside the prisons to lift up a man while they're doing time. I could not count in 20 years how many organizations came inside the prison. Please don't take that away. But the crisis, when I was doing time, I worked in the law library for 7 years. Guys would say, Jay, I'm fixing to get out. I have no place to go. I can count on one hand in 20 years, and I couldn't even fill it up. I have organizations say, hey, welcome home. Let us help you reintegrate into society. Let us help you get a place to stay, a job, second chance employment, right? Same thing with second chance employment. They're good. Oh yeah, we want to help second, but what's their charges? Oh, no. I'm trying. God put, and then we help juveniles also, but that is, so we help them get established in a home, help them find work, help them save their money. They're not in control of their money for the first 6 months.
Yeah.
We're going to help them try to save some money, because the problem when they come out is they want to have a drink, they want to have a beer, they're lonely, and those elements in life, as we all know, trying to find solutions in the wrong area of life takes them 70 cents. But you got to build a vision inside the prison before they even come out. And so we're partnering up with some organizations that have a curriculum inside, preparing them 6 months to a year, to when they come out, this is where they're going. And this is what you're going to be provided for. Home, we help you get some transportation. We got a coaching industry also with another organization. I'm telling you, God is just partnering me up with some great organizations. But great, thank you. Great. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Okay.
I would just say, I know a lot of people who have been in prison. Could have been me. And one of the things that I believe is that in spreading awareness of your business, tell the story, tell your story. Tell your story about the start, going through, but I think what's really special is how come you're not one of those 70%? And talk about that.
Right.
Because you just said you have a successful painting business, you're here trying to give back, and you did 20 years of time. And I don't know if people know this, but prison in Georgia, prison in the South is hard. It's not easy time. There's much easier places to be in prison if that's a thing. And so I think telling how you avoided being the 70%, I think people could get behind that.
Thank you, Greg. What's your name?
My name's Drew.
Drew. Great question. It starts while they're incarcerated. It starts by building a vision with them, not with the organization coming in and lifting them up, giving them education, giving a trade, all that. I had all that, but when it came time, I didn't have the. It took all my effort, but I started preparing myself while I was inside the prison to when I was coming out. These men are not being trained. They're not being inspired. They're not being educated in that area. They're just given a trade, but it might be years later if they didn't get out. And so the visions. A man without a vision, a woman without a vision will perish. So we start, and that's what God gave me. He gave me a vision to start preparing myself when I got out. And that is what we're trying to do to build that. And that gives inspiration to be something bigger than themselves to when they come out.
But what I'm saying is, Mike Tyson said everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. You can have a vision and a plan when you're incarcerated. That's all good and well.
Right.
But like you said, you did 20 years of institutionalized living in the penitentiary. Coming out, you came out to a different world, different things.
Sure did.
You know what I'm saying? So no matter what your plan is, I'm sure you stepped down and was like, hold on.
Yep.
This different.
Yep. I was engulfed with
So
Go ahead.
tell your story
Right.
as to how, when you got out, life didn't punch you in the face because it could have.
Right.
There was a big difference in this world
Right.
between the 90s when you went into prison
Right.
and almost 2020 when you came out.
Exactly.
And you still managed
Right.
to keep the vision and keep going and thriving. So tell that story.
I will. I definitely will, because that vision, I carried that vision starting in prison into the real world. But when I came out, I was engulfed with fear. Had no job, had no occupation, and I didn't really even have the connection, because I can't point fingers at the system. I can only try to help the system. And the system is, they have to have a place that's secure, they can live, they don't have to worry about their food, but they need a job. And if you can provide these things, this gives man but if you're building that vision while they're coming out, they know when they're coming out. But see, a lot of guys, if you don't build that vision, man, I've been living with somebody for 5 years, and I don't want to live with another man in another apartment. You've got to build them a vision when they're coming out, prepare them mentally and spiritually. This is the next step. Trust the process. It's like so many plans we put together with Drew. I would definitely work on that a little bit more until
So a couple of things. So you mentioned in prison coaching thing. Is that part of the coaching is to get in and coach the prisoners with that vision?
Yes, ma'am. We have another program called Tackle the Shackles. One of the partners we partner up with. Then we have Life Changers Legacy. They have a different curriculum. One of the new ones though is we're looking for mentors that would love to be a coach, and you would coach somebody from inside to for I think it's 3 months. While they're inside, we're looking at trying to do it a little bit further, but then also they'd be coached when they come outside for the next 3 months to 6 months.
And how long has Torn Pages been in business, and what are you looking for?
Torn Pages was founded in the year 2000 when God touched my life, but it wasn't established until about 7 years ago. And and somebody helped me put a nonprofit organization together. I don't know how all that works. Talk about being a fighter. That's what I was. I was a natural fighter growing up. I was international at one time in the amateurs. So I'm not the smartest person when it comes to this is my like I said, this is my what do you call this thing here? Slide presentation. So I remember my first phone call I made. There's phones inside. I can tell you all kinds of stuff inside the prison. But I remember first I was calling one of my best friends, and she said, "Jay, where are you at? Where you calling me from?" I said, "I don't know, Susie." I said, "I'm on this finger phone." She said, "What's a finger phone, Jay?" I said, "I don't know. I got this phone, man. I can do everything with a finger." She's like, "Oh my God. I've never heard anybody call it a finger phone." I had to do something there, Chase. A new company coming out, the Finger Phone. So, Steve, I thought something good there.
Yeah, I just want to build on what these folks said. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I think, as Drew said, many of us know people
Yes.
who have come out of prison, and success stories and not success stories.
Yes.
I think you've done a really good job of defining what the problem is.
Yes.
I think in your presentation you did that. I got a couple of notes on your presentation and the order of what you might do things.
Okay.
Is start with that defining the problem. 70% are
Right.
not going to make it.
Right.
Because, and then talk about the solution that you're bringing
Right.
from there. Here's what we want to do to make sure that doesn't happen. And then you get to the trust factor for you.
Right.
I can tell you this because I've been there.
Okay.
Here's what I did. Here's what happened to me that helped me not be one of those 70%.
All right.
And that would be a really powerful, I think, presentation. I mean, you've done a great job.
Right.
You've got all the pieces there, but stacking it in that way,
Okay.
I think getting to the solution a little bit sooner in the process would really help make this presentation killer.
Okay.
So,
I would address that. My board of directors, when I had them established, and some of them might be coming back on board, but I'm all over the place. But what I've found in my life is that is very impacting. But what I've found is that the most important person is the one sitting in this chair. And that's why I bring the Torn Pages to your life first. If I can impact your life with a gift of hope, peace, and strength, whether or not you have a son that's addicted, or you have an auntie that's in the hospital dying, or you just went through a divorce and you're looking for a gift or something for the problem in your life, if I can meet that problem personally first, then when I introduce myself, that's just my thinking. But I've been given both endeavors. That Jay, you are the face of Torn Pages, and this will be your marketing part. But I would definitely take that into consideration, because how it comes apart with the veteran. I talk about the veteran instead of me, but I bring in my story at the veteran, that the veteran they're talking about is me. And so, but I would definitely take that into consideration as I move forward. But thank you for your suggestion, definitely. Yes.
You're asking for like help with funding and so forth. Are you at all interested in having your Torn Pages bracelets in like mainstream, like in Walgreens and Walmart and
Yes.
in stores around
Yeah.
everywhere?
That is we're in about we're in probably about 20 different organizations, 30 different organizations, not on a regular basis yet, but they have partnered up with us. And then, like I said, we're in Smith and Davis. We're just getting started. I just went into this full time in November, and it cost me a lot of things in my life. And but that's another story in itself, because this is more important than my painting company. It served its purpose. But yeah, that is the main focus. Is that when I was inside that prison cell, God said to me that, God's Spirit spoke to me and said, I'm giving you a gift that you won't be needing people to donate to your vision. You'll have a gift that can support you. And so, yeah, as we speak, Hobby Lobby, I'm not sure where that conversation is going to go. But golly, as entrepreneurs, we'd all love to have an opportunity that Hobby Lobby or Walmart would carry our services or their product in their store. And Walmart was interested about 5 years ago, but I turned them down. I don't know why. I was stupid. They wanted to do something different. I thought they wanted to put it in a sweatshop to make these beads. Mm-hmm. In mine, that's what I was thinking. And I couldn't get over that, but it wasn't that at all. But then they wanted to own 100% of my organization, but they'd give me a royalty. And when I talked to other people, and I didn't run, but it was crazy, and I turned it down. But anyways, I'm okay with that, and because I love where I'm at right now. We're looking at trying to get on Shark Tank. I think it'll be a great endeavor for Shark Tank. Like I said, what we connect with is just unbelievable. But yeah, that is, so if you have any connections, or you have any way of, I've already tried to connect with corporate buyers. Like I said, I was fixing to go to the corporate buyer with Hobby Lobby, and my friend says, well, my husband's best friends with Steve Green. You don't need to go to corporate buyers, but trying to navigate and find the corporate buyers and find the people I need to connect with, to send them a video and send them some samples. but I think that'd be very powerful. So any suggestions you have with that, I'm wide open because, like I said, I'm a natural boxer, so I'm always open to suggestions. And so, yeah, go ahead.
Have you heard of A Better Way Movers?
Yeah, I'm friends with John.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
And so we, you know, the guys can't wear jewelry during this process, so we're different a little bit on that. But John's, John, we'd never met each other while we were doing time, but I remember reading his book, and John's got a phenomenal. But that's something we're going to be building also for Torn Pages. I don't have to create something like John does. My vision is that there's so many organizations out there already like John's, but not as big as John's. But they're looking at helping, mostly in recovery, halfway houses, and helping men come out of prison. And so the next endeavor I'm doing right now is organizations like this are consulting me for second chance companies. So if you know a company that would be willing to be a second chance opportunity company that would give these men a chance and some women an opportunity for livelihood, please let me know or send me a connection with that. And I get that connection, and they're like, I got to go inside the house. I'm like, I go inside houses all the time. You know, I mean, my business is so well established for some people. They say, Jeff, we're going on vacation for a week, man. We want to get all this painting. Can you come in for a week and paint our home? They know my story. That's what my company, the painting company, has established. Go ahead, Drew.
What would you say to the entrepreneur who may be fearful or concerned about employing an ex-prisoner?
That's a good objective. That's where I'm fixing to knock on the doors, and that's the objectives. Even though Governor Deal, he passed an amendment, an amendment about 2 years ago, made I think it was April, Second Chance Month for corporations. I mean, I have these stories all the time, and you know, only thing I can share with you is that once we build a vision with these men coming out of prison, and we give them 3 or 4 opportunities of companies they're going to, they would write letters to this company. They would start that vision inside the prison, saying, "Hey, thank you for the opportunity." And so, if we build these visions, what happens is guys coming out of prison with the right vision and the right foundation of being coached, they will be one of their greatest employees because they're not going to go nowhere. They're loyalty. They know the chances of their failure rate and how important that is. But you know, we also try to give them good jobs to where they can at least grow for a year, maybe have a career. But that's tough in this industry because most people just want to give them to the mom and pops. There's nothing wrong with Wendy's or any of that stuff or fast food, but that is where we're trying to build the character of a man while he's still in prison. And that way we can share that, hey, they're being coached. How many people in here have coached? You know, anybody here coached? They have coaching, right? If you've never been coached, it's probably one of the greatest assets you can have because it's just powerful and it helps you build a greater vision and helps you establish more. And so we can build that. That's what some of these companies do. They give coaching to their top employments or their top management. They know how valuable that is. And so that's a resource we're bringing to these other men and women when they're coming out. So, but definitely an obstacle. But it would be, if you got DUIs, you're definitely not going to be a driver. They're not going to submit that. And if you did some transactions of, credit cards, you're probably not going to get a job at the bank. So there's a correlation. But most of these are going to be like movers, like John, Better Way Ministries and Better Way Movers. That these men, they're just saying, but John's built such an establishment that they're able to go inside the homes, inside the companies. But that's probably the reason he started these companies, because he came across the same enemy was good.
He also has a spiritual aspect to it too. So
that's what we have. That's what we have also, a spiritual aspect of, which is, my faith and my God is the one on the cross. I don't know about yours, but if you don't know him, I got to give him dibs on that, because it's only by his goodness and glory that changed my life. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to say that it sounds like a good space for you to enter into. This is more so on the preparing them for the transition. Is manufacturing facilities.
Yes, ma'am.
So I used to work for a manufacturer, and they were on the fence about becoming a second chance because I was advocating for it,
Yeah.
but they just weren't ready. So it might be beneficial, especially in the Henry County area because they have a heavy industrial area.
Right.
If you're able to meet and connect with maybe some human resources professionals to talk to them and build out some type of one pager to let them know the benefits and that you're willing to come in and speak to the HR team or the operations team.
Right.
Because manufacturing work, the facilities that I've supported, that would be a great transition job.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you could also couple it with some type of training for like the leadership, because one of the things that I experienced with having a second chance employee, so we had a guy who came in as a temp. He was in jail for 20 years, and he did it when he was like 20. And so it was one of those situations where it happened when he was in his early 20s. He was looking for a second chance, but our battle was people knew him.
Right.
So they knew of his past, they knew of his challenges, and then words started. Well, did you know he was? So it might also be good to consider that, one, going in and trying to partner with manufacturing facilities, but
Right.
also couple it with some coaching and training for leadership so that they know how to handle it. Because instead of the supervisors being able to step in, as I would have expected,
Right.
everything just kind of came to me. So that might be a good route for you to take, is to partner with some HR professionals in the manufacturing space.
Yeah, that's one of the key elements we're looking at, and that is as some of these organizations, that's the most critical place right now. We have housing. There's a multiple housing everywhere. But lots of times they're good at saying even in the housing they're full. So we're trying to, but the biggest element right now is second chance employment.
I'm sorry, I got one more question. Although the greater benefit would be that you're giving someone a second chance, you also have to see if there's any kind of incentive. Are there any benefits that an organization could
Yep.
receive
Yep.
for being a second chance employee?
Yeah, one of them is that we coach them. If you don't know the value of coaching, it is extremely valuable. We have mentors that mentor these men in prison out. There is a tax benefit. It's a tax credit, matter of fact, for a company that if they hire someone after 10 weeks, 400 hours of a steady employment, whether or not it works out after 400 hours, they get a $2,400 credit for their taxes. That means at the end of the year that you have to pay $10,000 in taxes, and you say, "Oh, I forgot about second chance employment." Now you don't have to pay $10,000 in taxes. You have to pay that minus $2,400. So it's actually money in your pocket for employers, even after 400 hours of a benefit. But then also, if you don't know the benefit of coaching, building within a man reliability, dependability, that their chances of being there, that retention for somebody coming out with a real second chance, they stay longer than any other employee that is coming in from off the streets.
I'm sorry, I got one more.
That's all right. Because this is very important. Second chance employment is critical what's going on in this industry right here.
So for you, so that I'm clear, is the priority torn pages from the bracelet, like selling the bracelets?
Yep.
And so that's the piece, and would you say the coaching and the transition support, is that secondary?
That's the mission. So you got a vision. The vision is to touch your life with hope, peace, and strength with a gift for you to give away and give to others, to donate for that mission if you decide you want to do that, or you give total. The mission is four pillars. Personally, touching your life first. The second one is, the partnerships that we have with other organizations, like your also, if you decide you want to partner with us and have bracelets. The other one is global. And then the last one that I put on the pillar, to save for the best last, is great prison reentry. So those are the 4 pillars. We have the foundation from the vision of bracelets being purchased at other outlets or inlets and other things like that, or people making a donation from churches. So.
I feel like it should be flipped.
Should be flipped?
Yeah, I don't.
I get it, and I get that a lot. That might be something I have to digest and stuff. But I've just found out. I had a missionary from India, and he found out about Torn Pages, and I said, you know, you really need to maybe change the vocabulary of what you're doing. He's like, what do you mean, Jay? I said, what you do is no different than any other missionary that comes into the church. I said, don't get offended. I said, what do you mean, Jay? I said, you tell them about your story, your needs, your wants, your purpose, right? Of the children starving in India, the orphans and the widows. I said, you're not doing anything different than any other missionary that knocks on the door. He said, what am I supposed to do? I said, share about their torn page. What about the people that are sitting there? For me as a church, the first vision you have to have is the person sitting in the chair. And so if I can meet your vision of hope, peace, and strength with something that's going on with you, with your mother or your sister or somebody else, and then impact you, I have a greater chance now to impact my story. That's just me. And when he did that, he did the same thing. He tore the pages, and it's great. He does it better than I do, to be honest with you. It's very inspiring. And he said, Jay, the spirit that came over that church was like no other. And he says, and I raised more funds by ministering to the people first with Torn Pages, and had the gift of the bracelets to help raise funds for his endeavors. And so that's where I juggle, where, you know, when I come in with the prisoners, you know, because maybe you don't connect with the prisoners, but you connect with your life's Torn Pages and whoever else is suffering in your life.
What's that saying? Put the ends before the means.
Yeah.
Is that it? Right? I see the bracelets as being the way to support the bigger vision.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
I think
that's exactly
what you're saying.
That's exactly
I
what I'm
feel
saying.
like you can. I don't mean to easily. I know sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard for you to sell these, but
No.
you can easily sell the bracelet because people like to look good,
Right.
or they like the idea of giving it to somebody else.
Right.
You know, the buy two, so one's for you. Like, there's a lot of really cool things that I think speak to people in a wearable.
Right.
But if they read the tag and they see that there's this bigger picture that can support this really bigger mission, then by all means, push the bracelets all day long,
Yeah.
and then support the larger vision.
Yeah, that's my objective. And so we're trying. So this is my last thing on point of purchase with other retail stores, because it's so competitive. We've got a little niche with some special ones. And that's where we're with Hoffman Tires and Main Street Auto. They're anyways. So when you get your car repaired, sometimes you're just sitting in there, right, with a TV and a coffee and some magazines to read. But we're putting Torn Pages with their logo, you know, and they look and they say, wow, this is pretty neat. And so now they're buying their bracelets at the automotive stores because, you know, the people love the story. And they're taking the story and they're giving it away to other people. And so it's helped marketing their company. So that's where, though, that there's no competition at the automotive store or the collision store where we're fixing to knock on some other doors corporate-wise. But now in Smith & Davis, they got me sitting on point of purchase, and it's still right there, but the connection's not like that. So what I'm thinking, people say, why Torn Pages? It's made out of paper. Because if it's not, it's just a piece of jewelry. But if they read the story, it might read. So we're thinking about attention. Do not read this.
Yeah.
See? It might, and then on real small lines, it might change your life. You know, so that's what we're thinking about marketing. It's the stories, attention. Do not read this.
Or like, this won't change your life.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it will change somebody else's.
Yeah.
That is an intention.
Yeah. So I'm always open, because if we don't, if somebody doesn't stop. Oh, that's a pretty bracelet. But somebody said, don't read this. Oh, what the heck? So I'm open, and man, I am so grateful for 1 Million Cups, and I'm grateful for you guys, because I promise you, if you can partner up with us and you have an organization or a company, a small purchase or donation or however you want to do it, marketing wise, for you to market your company, it's not going to hurt anything. Just put your special logo for a cup of coffee when they walk away. They'll have somebody to remember if they want to share with somebody. How important is that? That you gave them something that can make a difference in their life or somebody else's life, and then you bring them home.
Jay, thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah.
All right. See everybody back here next week.
Should have did it with
Yes.
wrapper off.
Ron?
Yeah, kind of contagious
I don't
kind of
have anything next week, I have somebody following me.
We don't have anybody next week. We do have Ron, who isn't here this morning. He had a paid gig, but he's going to present his photography business the week after next. But next week we have a gap. So that means that I've got to go to work now and reach out to my network and see if I can find anybody to fill that. But, worst case scenario, we make the most of it. But please go out, tell people, lots of other businesses that you talk to, tell them how amazing this is and how powerful this is, and get them to sign up. 1millioncups.com/present. All right.
And if anybody wants to make a donation and some bracelets,
come up here and check these out.
Come check them out. I don't have my PayPal set up.